Hey everybody, I'm Bueller from Comics with Bueller, and this is
Bob from Everything Comics.
and you're watching Comic Book Addicts.
Oh.
Buddy, welcome to Comic Book Addicts. This is episode 32. Hope everybody's doing all right. It is August 21st, Monday, and I hope everybody's week is off to a good start so far. Let's see who we got in the comments. Yeah, man, I hope y'all are having a good week so far. We have Las Cruces from New Mexico. He says hooray and woohoo. 2 separate times. He came once at 1:04 and once at 5 p.m. I appreciate you, Las Cruces. I hope you're having a good day, man. Frank's BS. So getting late. I just can't wait. 10 o'clock, and I know I got to hit the first road. I see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Trev, the shipping guru, Scotty, Tony, evening gents. What is going on, Trev? He does a lot. He is doing a live stream. He did one with Evil Mike last night that I was unable to make it to. I'm going to try to make it to the next one. I definitely am going to make it to the next one. But he is starting up a brand new live stream. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, be sure to check that out. I think, well, y'all let me know in the comments what time, because I'm not sure exactly what time. Cliff on Comics, what's going on, bro? Hope you're doing well. Glad to see you, man. Here we go. We got Evil Mike. He says, hey, Scotty. What's going on, Mike? He is one half of the live stream I was just talking about with Trev that they do on Sunday nights. But with that being said, man, I want to talk about some announcements before we bring the guest out. So I'll go ahead and get started. Don't want to keep him waiting too long. We got a really cool guest tonight. First off, I wanted to shout out the Monday night comic book lineup. And I'll throw it up on the screen here. But Izzy and Josh started it off with their comic book weekly pull list. And always a good time. They run through the books that are on the hot list. And very informative and always fun with Izzy and Josh. Hashtag found Josh. Then after that, it's Comic Book Addicts. And then after this show, we have tonight it's on TM Nerdy's channel, but we have Between the Lines. And that is always a really, really fun time. Great art show. A lot of good at-home drawings. People draw along with the show, and they have really cool guests. Tonight, the guest is Cryo Prime. But that's going to be on TM Nerdy's channel. We got 22 Comics at 9 p.m. with his top 10 alternatives. And he always has some really interesting alternatives to what are on the hot list every week. Comes up with some really cool stuff. So be sure to check that out at 9 p.m. Then we have Cupo Comics with their Monday Night Raw books. That's at 10 p.m. And wrapping it up for Monday night, we have Carlos Collects Comics at 11 p.m. with his Monday Hauls Live. So pretty packed and stacked Monday night. And I hope you guys are able to tune in and ride out the night with us and hang out and have a good time. Let's see. What was next on my list here? Oh, yeah. A lot of other really great lives, too, that I wanted to mention. Collecting with Durs and his Sunday night sesh every Sunday at 6 p.m. And then Breakfast with Brian every Saturday morning. And while I'm talking about Saturday morning, they actually kind of have a cool little lineup that they've put together recently. I wanted to put that up on the screen in case you're unaware. But we got Madam Blaster doing her thing with Gary B and Fanboy Prime. Then you've got Breakfast with Brian and Philtastic wrapping it up on his channel. Sorry, the banner's blocking it there. But that's last week today with over on Philtastic's channel at 11 a.m. They got a really cool Saturday morning lineup going. I wanted you guys to be aware of it if you aren't already. See if we got any more people popping in the comments here. CBC award nominees, they are going to be announced. What's up, Durs? Hey, man, how's it going? Glad to see you. Hope you're doing well. CBC award nominees will be announced this Friday, y'all. It's going to be via live stream, and it's going to go down on Brian LCS's channel. But speaking of Brian LCS, I'm going to kick it over to him with the CBCA update.
Hey YouTube, Brian LCS with a Comic Book Community Awards update. Nominations are officially closed. The committee is hard at work tallying up all of the nominations that came in. And on August 25th, during a live stream, we will reveal the finalists for the 2023 Comic Book Community Awards. And then the next day, August 26th, the finalist voting will open. and that'll run until November 18th. And then the first Saturday in December, December 2nd, winners will be announced. So keep an eye on the Comic Book Community Awards website for the latest updates, and be ready for the live stream and the finalist voting later this month.
Be sure to tune in this Friday on Brian LCS's channel for that live stream. I'm not sure exactly what time, to be honest, but if anybody knows, let us know in the comments. And I don't know, Brian, if you pop in here at any point, let us know in the comments what time that live stream will be this Friday. Try to update you guys as this live stream goes on. But the only other thing I wanted to bring up, You Collect What, episode 2. Me and Frank from Frank's BS do a live stream together. We just started, and episode 1 was about Transformers, Transformer toys, comic books, and had some really cool guests. Had a great time diving into that hobby and those collections. And for episode 2, it's going to be this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. You can find it on Frank's BS on YouTube, or you can find it at my channel, SFon82 on YouTube. So either one. But episode 2 is going to be Funko Pops. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we got some really cool guests. We have Vogs coming on to bring a really cool bobblehead collection. We have Collecting with Durs coming on. We have Chris and Ralph from IG coming on to bring a fantastic pop collection to show you guys. And we're going to dive into a little bit of Funko history and some fun facts. It's going to be a lot of fun. And episode 3, we are going to do Character Fanatics, and it's going to revolve around people who have a really big, awesome collection revolved around one character. We will have Gary B, the casual comic guy, with his Conan the Barbarian collection. We will have Deadpool NC Jigpool NC, I'm sorry, bringing on his Deadpool collection, an amazing Deadpool collection. And I added on recently from Wolverine's Comics, Joseph, who has an amazing Wolverine collection. So he's going to bring that on. It's going to be a really stacked and really awesome episode 3. But if you guys have gemstones, is going to be for episode 4. If any of you guys have a cool gemstone collection or know anyone that does, hit us up at youcollectwhatlivestream@gmail.com. And you never know who randomly has a cool collection of gemstones. So I just wanted to put that out there. That's one that we're going to do a future show on. But with that being said, man, enough of me blabbing. Let's bring out tonight's guest, because we have a cool one tonight. Let me clear this comment off real quick. Sorry, y'all. Oh, we had a few people pop in here. I want to shout out real fast. Mon Comics, what's going on, brother? Marcus, my brother Circumstances, says let's go. And Izzy, who just wrapped up his show. Really good show, man. But enough of me blabbing. Tonight's guest I met through Comic Corner 2.0. And over time, I've grown pretty close with this guy. And I'm proud to call him a friend. He's pretty much a walking dictionary of Transformer knowledge, among many other things. His channel, Comiverse, on YouTube is fairly new, but he's really putting out some great informational content that's definitely deserving of a watch. Y'all help me welcome Tony from the Comiverse onto the live stream.
What's going on, man?
What's going on, bro? Hey, man, what's up? How you doing?
We got to lose our minds in Detroit Rock City, baby.
So
I got to show it.
Oh, you brought it. The kiss.
I brought it.
That's the issue with the that is the issue that they have, that has their blood in the ink, correct?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Frank spouting off Kiss lyrics. I got to show off a Kiss book.
That's cool, man. Oh, dude, I hope you're doing well. How you doing this evening?
Hot and sweaty. Just finished supper, cooking supper, and it's hot.
Yeah, I know,
man.
It's really
hotter than hell.
It's really hot, dude. It was like 95 in Chattanooga today. It was crazy. Really hot. And the humidity here is awful too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, man, tell us. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we're not that far apart, so we're probably sharing the same humidity.
Yeah, it's like that in Arkansas. I've worked out that way. It is. It's pretty bad out that way too. The humidity is. Tell people at home a little bit about yourself and a little bit about where you're from.
Well, I'm from Caraway, Arkansas, little small town. Pretty much grew up here. Started collecting comics when I was 13. My first comic was Captain America 333. Just something about that cover. I grabbed it, and with my aunt's help, I got my first subscription. And I pretty much haven't looked back since. Now, I did have periods where I was on again, off again, on again. It happens. But for
Yeah.
the most part, I've been collecting for about 36 years, mostly Marvel. But that has changed here recently. And I just love. I'm still enjoying reading like I did when I was 13. I also like to collect. I watch horror movies, listen to rock and roll, all that good stuff.
What kind of rock and roll?
Oh, heavy metal, mostly 80s hair metal, but I'll
Nice.
my music collection it's pretty much
You're a
everything
good
from
nerd.
Rammstein to Amy Grant. So
Cool. Well, it's good to be diverse, man. I'm very diverse with my musical taste. I listen to everything, literally anything I can listen to.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as it's cool, you know, I'm
Oh
good
yeah.
with it. As long as it's got a good beat or whatever. Kenneth Bird, what's going on, bro? Well, I met you a few years back through the Comic Corner 2.0 group on Facebook. What led you to that group? How did you find that group? Because a
Honestly,
lot of us
about
found each other on that group.
yeah. I mean, I watched YouTube videos since I don't know 2016. I didn't actually make an account until like 2020. It was about
Yeah.
about with my name. Because if you go to look at Comiverse, it'll probably say established in 2020. That's not exactly true. And it was post COVID or no pre COVID, 2019, somewhere around in there. I hadn't been collecting since 2015, but COVID was about to hit, and I guess I just started picking up some books. I went into a comic shop in Jonesboro and started picking up some more books, and then I started noticing on YouTube there were channels that were talking about the newer books, like Comics with Bueller and Bullseye Bob and Comic Tom and Very Gary. Those were the first groups I found, and Jim Mint. And then I found Mike.
Yeah.
And out of all of them, I mean no disrespect because all of them are top notch guys, but Bueller and Mike, I gravitated to immediately. I love
Yeah.
Bueller's Coffee and Comic Show, and Mike just
Mhm.
had this attitude. Like I was like, man, he just seems to be really happy about everything, and that's not a bad
Yeah.
thing. It's a great thing.
Yeah, he's
And
got a
then
great attitude. So for the most part towards comic books. Every now and then he's not, but
And then I went through a little bit of time where I just watched the videos. I never commented. And then I got to where I started commenting. And then that's where I guess, now I joined the Facebook group, the Comic Book Corner 2.0 Facebook group. And then that's where we all met. And then,
yeah.
one
A
day I
lot of
just
really cool
decided,
people hooked up through that group, man. I met so many cool people in that group.
oh, yeah, man. And then I was going to say, I don't know what it was, but actually I know exactly what it was. I'd been hawing and thinking about doing a YouTube channel. And I was like, well, does anybody really want to watch me? And anyway, I was like, what do I have to contribute? And I said, well, I'll just talk about my love of comics.
Yeah.
And then it was Jimmy Don Kerr for Small Town Collectibles. I watched the video of his, and he was talking about. I don't really remember what the point of the video was or what the main focus was, but he made a comment that he had started his channel to prove to his kids that anybody could do it. And that pretty much, I was like, oh hell, I guess I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, and Dale last week when Dale of Suspense was on here, he was talking about he started his channel, and one of the main reasons that he started his channel was to prove to his children that you could do anything that you wanted to do, and that was one of his motives for wanting to get started.
Yeah. And for me, it's not. I'm going to steal a line from Durs because I think me and Durs are kind of in sync on certain things.
Shout out Durs.
And for me, it's just hanging out
and
meeting people in the community. I mean, Durs preaches that, and it's right. I mean, he's right on. I mean, it's about the connections.
Definitely. Yeah. I've built a lot of really good connections and a lot of good friends in this community. A lot of them are here tonight.
Yeah.
Well, did you read comic books as a kid? Did you get into comic books as a kid, or was it something that you gravitated to a little bit later in life?
Well, like I said, okay, now I started collecting when I was 13, but I bought a few books here and there, and normally I read them, and they probably got lost or trashed or whatever. Um, my big thing was reading novels. I mean, I read Bram Stoker's Dracula when I was 9 years old. So
Oh wow,
I
that's
mean,
a big read for a 9-year-old.
yeah, I had a thing about vampires. I love vampires. Seen it
Me
at the
too. Me
library,
too.
checked it out, and I read it, and everybody was like, "And you could understand it?" I went, "Yeah. What
I
is there
used
not
to
to
actually,
understand?"
I used to collect the Anne Rice Vampire Chronicles in hardback. Did you ever read any of those?
I read the first three,
Yeah.
and I always kept saying, "I've got them all on audiobook and digital," and I keep saying I'm gonna go back and read them. Of course, I haven't.
Blood and Gold. It's about Marius. Blood and Gold is
Yeah,
amazing. It's an amazing book.
yeah.
Highly recommend that one if you like
I
vampire
kept
stuff.
I kept hearing a lot about Memnoch the Devil, but I've never
That
gotten to
one's
that point
good.
to read it.
That one's good. That one's pretty good. But I really would recommend Blood and Gold. And that's one of the best books I've ever read, period, in my whole entire life. And there is actually a good sequel to it called Pandora, which is also really good. But anyways, I'm getting off the subject. What were some of your favorites when you first got into comics? Like what pulled you in?
Okay, well, I can tell you without a doubt the first three comic books I ever bought was Captain America 333, Amazing Spider-Man 292, and Fallen Angels issue 6. Now I didn't know what Fallen Angels was. I didn't know what a mutant was. Didn't know what the X-Men were. All I picked
Yeah.
that up because I just thought the cover was badass. I knew vaguely. I mean, I knew vaguely about Captain America from the '70s movies. I didn't really ever see any cartoons with Captain America, even though they were out there. And of
Mhm.
course, Spider-Man. I knew Spider-Man from his Amazing Friends. So I mean,
The carts. Yeah, that was awesome, man. Daredevil NYC, what's going on, bro? He says, "What's up, comic fam?"
and it was funny for me when I first started, and this also leads to my YouTube channel too. When I first started, around me, there wasn't a lot of people that read comics, so
Yeah.
I didn't have the knowledge of what was out there or how to bag and board them or box them or anything. My collection when it first started looked like crap, and so when I started the channel, I said, okay, maybe I can offer tips for people that are just starting out. I mean, you know, the first book I ever bought of Spider-Man was, Mary Jane accepted his marriage proposal, and then they're getting married. That was the next book I bought, and I was
Roscoe.
like, "Well, who?" I was like, "Who the hell is Mary Jane?" And then I was like, "Who the hell is Gwen Stacy?" And but I figured it out, and after years, and I finally found like 6 months to a year after I started collecting, this guy that lived in the same town as me. He showed me his collection. He started showing me the way as far as things.
Did you ever pick up Wizard magazine when you were younger? That's how
Oh
I
yeah, all the
kept up with
time,
stuff. Yeah, yeah,
all the
it's
time.
awesome, man. I recently was on the hunt and I found at an antique shop in a little small town here in Dayton, Tennessee. I found a Beavis and Butthead Wizard. It was awesome.
Oh
Really
wow.
cool to see. Yeah, it's fun to see after all these years.
Well, I mean,
But
growing up in the '90s, Wizard was our only connection to comics. I mean,
yeah,
we didn't have internet, so I mean, there wasn't no YouTube or any of that stuff going on. So I mean,
yeah, yeah,
it
man,
was
it
either
was.
it was Wizard for comics and Toy Fair for toys. So I mean,
Hmm. Yeah, and they I used to like to see the art that people would submit, and a lot of those artists ended up later on becoming big artists in comic books. Some of the people that submitted art to Wizard, but it was cool to see the artist submissions and things like that. Uh,
oh
kind
yeah,
of stuff like they would do on Between the Lines, like a lot of those guys do on the Between the Lines live stream. A lot of that stuff would be amazing Wizard submissions, stuff that you see on there.
oh
Shout
yeah.
out Roscoe, who is actually in here right now. Um, but what is
Those guys.
sorry, man, go ahead.
I was gonna say those guys. Roscoe is a phenomenal artist.
Yes, he absolutely is. Does some really good work. What were some of your favorites growing up? What were some of your favorite books to read?
As far as comics,
Just anything, man. I guess I don't think it has to be
well,
comic books, just anything.
Well, now if we talk about just regular novels back in the 80s, I mean, it was mostly, Dracula, Frankenstein, and then of course I read the regular literature like Where the Red Fern Grows, stuff like that. I mean, I didn't really during the 80s I didn't read a lot of novels, especially when I switched over to comics. But now when I started collecting comics, those first few years it was just Batman, Cap, Spider-Man, Transformers, GI Joe, and a
Nice.
Superman here or there. I even had some Firestorm, which I got rid of a
Very
long time
cool.
ago, which I kicked myself in the butt for.
Yeah.
And
I have a
I
lot of
didn't
those.
dis- I didn't discover the X-Men until I hope
The
I don't get the
X-Men.
year wrong. 87 or 88, right when Inferno launched. So I mean,
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
I started collecting. Then I started collecting X-Men,
Yeah,
and
you're hardcore X-Men collector.
I mean, I love all the that stuff from Inferno on. I still tell people that if you don't count the Dark Phoenix saga, because that talking about X-Men, that's a given. Everybody usually loves the Dark Phoenix saga.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you throw that to the side, and my favorite X-Men crossover, which would be Inferno. And they've had some great ones after that, but Inferno was the one that brought me to the table. And
Yeah.
of course, I love me a redhead. So I mean,
Very nice. Very nice. Well, what is it about the hobby in general that you love so much? What is it about comic
basic,
book that keeps you going week after week?
well, when I was a kid, it was the escapism
Yeah.
because growing up, I didn't have a lot of friends. I mean, I had a few. Now, don't get me wrong, I had a few. I had a really good one. My buddy Tim that helps me run my Facebook groups. Um, but so I pretty much just stuck my head in a comic all the time. It was a good escape from reality.
Hmm.
Um,
It
and it's
is.
just, you know, you're trying to escape from the traditional teenage angst. And, but the stories I always love a good story. It wasn't until later that I really started appreciating the art. But I mean, if it had a great story, it could have some of the suckiest art, but if it had a great story, I'd still have it. But
It's
now,
kind of crazy, man. Like as a kid, like I didn't appreciate the artists and the writers like I do as an adult.
exactly, and you don't. I mean, it's kind of like opening up your favorite Christmas toy when you're a kid. You don't care about what's wrote on the box. You rip that box over, throw it to the side, start playing with the toy. So
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, what's
but
some I ask this to everybody that I have on, pretty much anybody that's a collector.
all right,
What is your earliest memory involving comic books that you can recall?
that would be when I started. My best memories when I started. Um, like I said, the books I mentioned. My aunt was watching us. We were down in Caraway for the week. My aunt was watching us because my dad was at work, and we went grocery shopping. I'm looking at the books because they caught my eye for some reason.
Hmm.
And my aunt said, "Would you like some of those?" And I went, "Sure." So she said, "Pick out three." No, she told me pick out two because I actually had the money to buy one. And she said, "Well, just pick out two." And I said, "Okay." I picked out three. I said, "I'm going to buy this." But she said, "No." So she went ahead and bought them. She got me my first subscriptions to Captain America. And
Very cool.
I got on right at the right time. I mean, The Wedding, Craven's Last Hunt,
Oh yeah.
Life at the Mad Dog Ward, and then the McFarlane era. I mean, I hit right when on ASM when the gold was getting ready to hit, and I still got my McFarlane run now. Granted, my dumb butt sold my 298, 299, and 300 in the 90s because I was stupid.
Yeah.
But I've got another 298 and another 299. I got my chromium reprint of 300. And I guess is it this week that the foil comes out?
Yeah, I was actually gonna say this Wednesday the foil and the regular facsimile drop for that. So y'all be on the lookout for that. If you weren't aware of that, the foil facsimile for that ASM will be in shops this Wednesday.
I
So
wanted I wanted to order two, but I didn't know how my money was going to be.
I ordered 3 foils and 1 regular because I knew that somebody would miss it. I knew like somebody's gonna miss it. So I just and for giveaways or something. Because
Oh yeah,
that's gonna
yeah.
be a cool book. So I made
And
sure
what
to order up on that.
the odd thing about my Chromium, I can't really just pull it down because it's on the rack and everything. But
Yeah.
when I bought that, I bought it in 2008, 2009. It came out in 1998. It was the 10th anniversary edition for the first appearance of Venom, and I just bought it on eBay because I was looking for a cheap reprint.
Yeah.
And when I seen it was Chromium. It was like $11 when I seen it for Chromium. I went,
Shiny
I
stuff.
don't. I was like, well, actually, but my opinion then was I didn't care
Welcome,
for it. I
Brian.
didn't want.
What's going on,
I was
brother?
like, I didn't want Chromium, but it was the cheapest one, so I went ahead and bought it anyway. And
Yeah.
then fast forward to 2016, 2017. I always get the years wrong. And I read an article about the top 10 most expensive books you may have in your collection. I was like, okay, whatever. And I started
Mhm.
flipping through them. And number one was that Chromium. And then I found out it was limited to like 2,500, 3,000 copies. And it was going for like, now it's going, I got it graded. It's a 9.2 and it's going for like $600-700.
Oh
So
wow, dude. Wow. Hey, Brian, while you're in the chat, can you let us know what time that live stream is? The CBC award nominee live stream this Friday. I was telling everybody about it earlier, but I could not recall the time. Could you let us know in the comments, please? Good sir. Hope you're doing well, by the way. Well,
but
what?
yeah,
Let's talk. Sorry, man.
go
I
ahead.
didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
no, no,
No,
go
go
ahead. Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Tony.
No, I was gonna say, but yeah, that was pretty much my start was McFarlane and X-Men and stuff like that. And
Okay. Brian is saying 10 p.m. Eastern time on Friday. So you heard it here, y'all. 10 p.m. Eastern time Friday. We will find out who the CBC Award official nominees are. So looking forward to that. But anyways, let's get back to let's talk about your collection, man. What are some of your favorite comic books to collect?
titles, or
Yeah,
just
yeah,
about,
yeah.
well,
Just like runs, favorite issues, just anything.
well, I can say that the runs I'm working on.
Hey,
Well,
Phil.
let's talk about the one I talked about in the other show, the Transformers run. Now,
Okay, yeah, let's talk about it.
with the exception of the 3 or 4 issues where Generation 2 gets started in GI Joe,
Yeah.
I have every Marvel comic book that Transformers that Marvel made. And
And you amazed me, dude. When you were on You Collect What episode 1, and we did it on Transformers, and we had you on. We had you, Flash by Night. We had a bunch of just everybody knew a little bit about Transformers, but you really blew me away with your knowledge of Transformers, dude. Like you knew freaking just everything. Like in the midst of a bunch of people who knew a lot about Transformers, like you really, I don't know, stood out to me with your knowledge. It was pretty cool, I thought. So shout
I
out
was
to
gonna say,
you on that.
I can remember when I watched the first episode roll out on the first day in 1984.
23 March. What's up?
I was a fan, and then I found out there was a comic, so I started picking them up. And it took me 20 years to get that collection because most of my collection there was no eBay. It was flea markets, comic book shops. I bought the last issue that I needed on eBay. So I
Very
mean,
nice. I'm looking at I have 4 issues left I have to get of my Dazzler run, and I found them all on Macari. So I'm looking at
oh
probably
man,
breaking down real soon and just grabbing them off Macari. They're just filler issues, but it's gonna cost me a little bit, but I don't care. I don't care at
it's
this
a
point. I just want to
but
knock it out.
it's a great feeling when you get that run, dude. Um,
4 issues
now,
away, man. 4 issues.
I was gonna say now the only other series I have that's a complete run is what I got my complete run of annuals and everything of Web of Spider-Man. I've got everything of that of Volume 1. But I'm always working on Batman, Captain America, Amazing Spider-Man, and Uncanny X-Men. I got some runs on those that span over 100, almost 200 issues of just a straight
What?
run. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. What are some of your favorite single books in your collection that you own?
Oh
What are
Lord,
some
the
of your babies?
first one off the bat. Well, I wanted that since I was 13, and I
Yeah,
finally
that's a
got.
badass book, man. That is
I
that
fi-
is awesome. Hold
I
that up.
finally
Let us
got it.
see that real good. Let's see that real good. Dude, that's amazing, man. I wish I had one of those. Those are bad. That's a badass book right there. Excuse me. Don't you hate it when someone answers their
Don't
own
answer
question?
their own questions.
What's going on, Phil?
But but for me, like now, the thing is about my favorite books, The Kid That Collects Spider-Man ASM 248. If you never read it, you got to read it. It's one of the best stories ever. Of course, Craven's Last Hunt, Inferno. Um, my mind's actually going blank.
Oh,
Hell,
you're fine.
Captain America, the storyline that I started at, Cap 333 was the book I bought. It was the first appearance of John Walker. That whole storyline from 332 to 350, where Steve Rogers quits and John Walker becomes Cap, and it
Yeah.
just gets crazy from that point on. And
Now
there's a
I
lot
know
of
you have some really cool Transformer keys. What are some of your favorite Transformer books in your collection?
um, issue 50 is my favorite. Issue 5 is my favorite cover.
Now, what's the
Um,
significance with those? What's special about issue
well,
50?
if issue 50 is the one, it's the last part of the Underbase saga, where my boy Starscream, he gets the Underbase, which is just a big thing of wealth and knowledge. It's like a beacon of light, but he
Yeah.
absorbs it and he just absorbs a fraction of it and becomes all powerful and starts laying waste to Transformers. He wipes
Oh,
out a bunch of them. And then when he goes to absorb the rest of it, he blows up. The rest of it kills him. But
so it's just a big action packed issue.
oh yeah, now he kills the aerial bots and Omega Supreme. Spoiler.
Damn.
I mean he just, like I said, he lays waste to everybody. Transformers 5 is my favorite because of the cover. That's that one I've showed before where it showed Shockwave and it said the Transformers are all dead.
Oh, that
Um,
one's awesome. Yeah, it's been homaged a few times too on other comic book series.
I mean, there's a lot of good stories. I always believe that if you're going to collect the Marvel run, you should get all of them. But to me, the first 50 issues are probably the best stories. And I know some people may argue because Unicron came later on in the 70 issues.
Mhm.
But to me, of course, you know, what was that, issue 53 and I think it was 70 or something was the two Jim Lee covers, which were cool. But yeah,
Yeah,
to me,
yeah.
the best stories happen between issue 1 and 50. Whether
Okay.
it be teaming up with G.I. Joe and that crossover, or the Headmaster showing up, or Megatron and Prime fighting in a video game to decide who dies. I mean, that was pretty weird.
Have you read the most recent issue of Void Rivals, issue 3?
I've not read 3. It's sitting at my LCS right now because I didn't go get my books last week.
Okay,
But
well, just to let you know, we get a little bit of a preview of Transformers issue 1, the Daniel Warren Johnson run. You get a little bit of it's a couple page preview of Transformers in the back of Void Rivals issue 3. So if y'all are interested in checking out what the art's going to look like and a little taste of the writing, check out that issue.
yeah, the last 3 books I read, I finally got caught up, was the first 2 issues of Void Rivals and the first issue of Conan, the new Conan series.
Yeah, man. I have not read that yet. I have it. I just haven't read it yet. I need to. It's in my read pile.
Well, for me, and I hope Durs doesn't yell at me. Well, he can't yell at me, but I love Void Rivals. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah,
When I read that first issue, I got that feel. I'm an '80s kid, so the first thing I thought of was Enemy Mine from the '80s. The 2
Okay.
aliens stranded on the planet. It made me think of
Okay.
Enemy Mine.
Okay.
And
I
then
see the comparison.
and then when the dude shows up at the end of issue 2, I went, you know what? I remember him from the cartoon. He was in the episode. I know he was in the
The
episode
pig looking
Starscream's
dude, the
Ghost.
guy with the pig
Yeah,
snout. Yeah.
yeah. I remember he was in the episode of Starscream's Ghost because he was trying to hunt down a bounty that Galvatron had put on Octane. So I knew he was
Okay.
in that one, but I was like, finally, after all these years, we finally know his name, and I don't even remember the name of it. But I'm going to be honest with you. I love the Conan just a little bit more.
Okay. No,
And
there ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Yeah, everybody's saying it's a pretty good book. So
Well, the reason why is because I used to read Conan back in the day. I read during the 80s, and
Yeah.
I got to read a few of the 70 books. But when I started flipping through the pages, the art, story, and everything, I was just transported back to the 70s Conan. And I was like, this is amazing.
Well, and also, man, don't sleep on Titan Comics. Titan Comics
No.
puts out some really good titles. There was a title they put out a couple years back. I think it was called "The Woman Who Electrified Tesla," and
Yeah.
that was the lady, something like that. But that was an amazing series, dude. That was awesome. It was really good. Titan Comics puts out some good books.
Yeah.
Are you? Sorry, man. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I even got a kick out of that 4-issue Cowboy Bebop series they did, even though it was based on the Netflix live action show. I still actually like the comic.
I
figured
haven't checked that one out.
it was only 4 issues. I figure if they had not canceled the Netflix show, they probably would have that series probably would have went longer. But
are you currently collecting any runs? Are you putting together one right now?
well, like I said, I'm always trying to get Batman, Cap, ASM, and
Uncanny X-Men.
Uncanny X-Men, and Spectacular. I'm trying to do Firestorm because
Firestorm.
up until this week, probably the only Firestorm comics I had 3. I had the 2 that I bought when I first started my collection, and then I got to issue 1 of the first ongoing series a few months ago. And then just this last week, I got to lock in a deal for the miniseries. And Firestorm, now I said it on Gary B's, I don't remember if it was the 1011 or the hot seat. Firestorm is my favorite DC character. I mean, everybody loves everybody loves Batman. Everybody loves Superman and, and so forth and so on, Wonder Woman and Flash and so forth and so on. But Firestorm, ever since I seen him on the Super Friends, I always loved Firestorm for some reason.
That's
and
awesome,
now,
man. I think that's really cool.
Now, hopefully Wednesday, I'll be unboxing.
Blaster, what's up?
I'll be unboxing his first appearance, hopefully. So I'll finally have an extra added bonus. I didn't realize this till I ordered the set. Was issue 3 is the first appearance of Killer Frost.
What? That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool.
But yeah, I'm gonna try to work on Firestorm, that first ongoing series, and I'm gonna work on the first ongoing series of Green Arrow.
Green Arrow, yeah, that's another good one. I like Firestorm, man. That's a good choice. That's an interesting choice. I think that's a good one, though. I want to see. I would be curious to check out that run after you get it put together. So, it'd be cool. What you got there?
This is another book. This is the first issue of the first ongoing Green Arrow. Now, I'm going to get a little preachy. I'm sorry. I did the spotlight for the first appearance of Green Arrow and Aquaman in More Fun Comics 73. Came out in 1941. And when I'm looking up the trivia, it said he got his first ongoing series in 1987. And I went, what? It took him that long to give Ollie his own book. Now he did a limited series in '83, similar to like what they did with Wolverine, where it was a 4-issue series.
Yeah.
But I was like, I can't believe they waited till 1987 for Ollie to get his own ongoing series. I do know he teamed up with Green Lantern for a while during, what was it, the 70s with Neil Adams. But I figured I honestly believe he should have had his own book a long time ago. But that's just me.
I would have figured he would have as well. I don't know. I'm a little limited on my DC. I don't know. I know some DC, but I'm more a Marvel guy. But speaking of that, though, are you Marvel or DC?
Well, if you would have asked me 36 years ago, it would have been Marvel all the way. When I first started back pre-COVID, it was again mostly Marvel.
Yeah.
In the last 6 months to a year, or about the last 6 months, well, I'll just put it this way. Now, as of right now, all I'm collecting is indies. I'm not collecting anything of Marvel or DC because I went through my list, and of course, with finances being the way they are, I cut a lot of stuff. I went from 19 books on my pull list to 7. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I did
and
that too.
the biggest thing was these books are cool, well, except for ASM.
Boggs, what's up,
And
bro?
I was like, do I want to get these? Which books do I want to get every single issue of, and which ones could I wait till the trades come out? And when I asked that for
Smart.
every series, I came down to 7, and that was the 4 Spawn. Got to get Spawn. Something That's Killing the Children, Conan, Void Rivals, and then in a couple months it'll be Transformers and GI Joe.
That's smart, man. I wish I could plan as well as you do. That's really smart.
But
You're prepared.
try to be.
So you're not really big on cover buys or anything. You just more or less buy the cover A's of what you want.
I can't say that either because, well, mostly yes, I'm typically cover A, but as you've seen, when I bought that Titans with the Starfire foil. I bought, I bought that Power Girl. I seen that on eBay, and where you could pre-order that Power Girl special, and I had to buy it because of the pretty jets that Art Germ put on there in the corner.
It's all about the jets, man.
Oh yeah,
it's all about those jets.
It was the jet formation.
That is definitely what sold that cover.
There was a Poison Ivy book that, okay, I haven't been reading the Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing, or Poison Ivy, but when there was a Poison Ivy cover that I bought immediately when I seen it. I don't even remember what issue it was, but when that Joker cover hit with him dressed up like Santa Claus, I bought it. No questions asked. I mean, so yeah, I do cover buys, but not a lot. The Transformers.
What about graded books, man?
Well, I got about 24, 23.
So you do a lot of graded comic books
when I can afford it.
What do you have a preference as far as like CGC or CBCS or PGX?
Whatever. I've never done PGX. I've been thinking about experimenting with EGS, but I haven't yet. I've actually did 2 submissions to CBCS because I did one through my LCS. I did one by myself just to see if I could do it, and just to see what it was like. And but to be honest, because at the time, I want to do CGC, but there's little things you have to get, like the subscription to, you have to do, like back then it was like $150 for the subscription. Now they've got different tiers now. And anything I do, I have to keep my wallet in mind. I have to keep, I got to pay these bills. I got to provide for the family. If I get a little extra money, then I haven't actually submitted any books since 2021. So,
well, you got to take care of the family and all that stuff first. I understand that. It's good, man.
And I'm going to show it again. This one's going to probably be the next one I send off.
Yeah, man. That definitely needs to go. That's a beautiful book, dude. That's definitely an awesome book.
I want to do that one. I want to do my McClintock. I've got a few. Like I said, when I want to pick something to get slabbed, I just pick what I want. I don't care if it's worth money or not. But like the Kiss book, I would have never thought to get slabbed, but I damaged it during the unboxing video. So I did the infamous Scotch tape on the cover.
Oh no.
Yeah, so if anybody ever goes back and watches that video, they'll see as soon as I did it, I'm covering it up. I ended the video quickly because I was going to start cussing, and I decided then and there that book's getting graded to protect it from me. So, but
yeah,
but
dude,
now,
that's horrible. I didn't know about that. Holy shit!
Some of the books that I'm looking at my wall, I bought off of eBay already graded. So
yeah, that's cool. Nothing wrong with that, man. If you find a good deal out there, grab it.
I'll show it if it'll come in right there. You see that little blemish right there?
Oh God, man. Oh, that hurts.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
And I joke with my wife because my kids know how much I love this book. I know
how much you love that book, dude. I know how much. That's an awesome book.
But I've got 2 kids, and I was like, I'm probably going to have to buy another one so our daughters don't fight over it.
I love the logic, bro. I love it. I love it, man. What are some, speaking of awesome, amazing books, what are some personal grails on your list?
Well, okay. I always said I had 3 books that I wanted to own before I die. That was one of them.
Okay.
The other 2 are Amazing Spider-Man 121 and 122, because 122 is my birthday book, and
Very cool.
because
Very cool.
because they're my favorite one. You know, if Kid That Collected Spider-Man wasn't my all-time favorite story, it would be the death of Gwen Stacy. I mean
That's your birthday book?
No, the other one, The Death of the Goblin, is my birthday book.
Oh, okay. Because my birthday book is a Daredevil 181, Death of Elektra.
Really?
So yep, that's my birthday book, and I was able to pick it up a couple months ago. So,
dude, I got a
awesome.
story for you on mine. When I picked mine up.
Yeah.
When it was pre-COVID again, I picked up a facsimile because I was like, you know what, I'll never be able to find this book and afford it. And then there was a comic book store that opened up, and I was flipping through their dollar books, and it was in there.
Oh my god, dude, that's
So
crazy.
I got it for $1.
Wow. Dude, that's an amazing find. Wolverine's Comic Shop, Joseph, what's going on, brother? Says, what's up, fam? What's some of your biggest finds? What's the biggest book you've ever pulled out of a bin like that? Is that the biggest one ever?
No, let me see. I would think as far as the biggest books, I can't show it, but up here on the wall, I have a 2.5 graded copy, and it wasn't graded when I got it, of X-Men 94.
Which one's 94?
Uncanny X-Men 94. It's
Yeah.
it's the book right after Giant Size X-Men #1. It was the book
okay.
the book that started the Chris Claremont era. It was the second appearance of the team. It was the book that relaunched the series from being a book that did reprints. And I got lucky and found it. And coincidentally, the guy that cleans and presses my comics, he was the guy. He sold it to a flea market. This guy from the comic book store bought it from the flea market. I bought it, and then he cleaned and pressed it, and then they got it. You know, it was like it's a circle.
Damn. Well, Vogs asked how do we find out your comic book birthday book? You just have to do some research, man. Do a little digging. Head to Google or head to your comic shop and talk to somebody that knows a lot about comic books, and they'll help you. Or just do some deep diving, man. You can find it. I know you're a smart guy, or I'll help you. You can private message me your birth date, and I'll try to help you find it if you want to do that.
I was gonna say in the comments, Trev says something about it, but
well, look up your month and year. Yeah, man, you should be able to find it with a simple Google search, honestly. But you could search it and find, surely. But dude, let's talk about your channel, man. Oh, sorry, Tony. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the birthday book is the month and date on the book itself, right? It's not necessarily the release date, because there's a release date and a publication date, and I think the publication date is what they're talking about. Where it says June on the cover or whatever.
Yeah,
I believe.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like I said,
let's talk about your channel, bro. Let's talk about Comiverse, man. We ain't even talked to anybody about your channel. Let's talk about Comiverse. What tell us a little bit about the channel and what people can find on your channel and what to expect.
Well, like I said, when I started the channel, I was just curious to see if anybody wanted to watch, my stuff. And of course, I started like everybody else. It was your unboxings, what I picked up from my comic shop or my LCS, or my unboxing when I got my grades stuff and all that. And I wanted to try something different, which is what led me to the Tony Comics Spotlight. And I started doing like and I told Gary, I said, you go back and watch episode 1, and it's like primitive considered the way I do it now. And the first few first couple I did. As a matter of fact, the first one I did was The Kid That Collects Spider-Man. And I believe the second one was the first appearance of Jason Todd, the one where he stole the wheels off the Batmobile. But anyway, I just said, well, I'll do a couple and see if anybody's interested. and then it took off. I mean,
Yeah,
I did.
because we
I never thought that this Friday I'll be dropping episode 32. So I
Dude,
mean,
you've came a long way, man. They're really informative. I always learn something. I take something away from it. And I think that's kind of the point, right? You want to, when you go to watch somebody's video, you want to be entertained or take something away from it. I always take away information from your stuff. So it's really
if
good, man.
if
Shout
you
out
look at
Pops. Comic Pops in the house. What's up, Pops?
if you look at the release dates for my videos for episode 2 and episode 3, there's like a few months in between because
Yeah.
I was like, I did the first 2 and I was like, something's missing. There's something not right. I need to do
Yeah.
something to make it better. And then 3 started my new format the way I did them. And then if you notice from 3 till now, I'm always trying to do little things to tweak them and make them just a little bit better, whether it be
Yeah,
a
that's what
new
it's all about, man. Every time you want to make it a little bit better, right? And continue to improve. And you
whether
have,
it's a
dude. I'm proud of how far you've came in such a short period of time.
yeah. And like I said, I didn't know if anybody. My idea was okay. I'll just put them on there and we'll see who wants to watch them. And Gary, I think, is the first person that on the 16th of September, when episode 35 or 34 drops, is
Yeah.
the first one out of the series that is by viewer request.
Okay.
Because I've told people before, hey, if you've in the like my live shows and stuff, if
Yeah.
you got a recommendation, let me know. And he had
Mhm.
made a comment, was talking on Instagram, and he said something about Jessica Drew, and I said, hey, dude, I can do it. So
Yeah.
we're going to do Marvel Spotlight 32 in sometime in September.
Hey, and y'all heard it. He's taking requests. And also, if you guys have any questions for Tony, let me know. Ask us some questions in the
Yeah.
comments. And feel free to ask Tony whatever you want, as long as it's comic book related and respectful, of course. But man,
It can be rock and roll related.
Yeah, it can be rock and roll related. What is that your favorite content to make on your channel, or what is your favorite stuff to make?
Well, I guess the comic spotlight is probably my. Would you call it my bread and butter? I don't know. I'd say
Yeah,
bread and
man.
butter, but it's not like
I like the spotlights. Yeah, you do a good
But
job on those.
I'm always trying to think of something new. I actually had said something to DVH before about doing a Transformer spotlight, where every
You
week
should.
I'd pick an Autobot and Decepticon every week, and I would talk about their strengths and weaknesses or what they did in the Marvel comics or whatever. And I'm still kicking that idea in my head.
You'd be the one to do it, man. You're the Transformer man when it comes to Transformer knowledge. You got it for sure.
But
yeah, Vogue, man, for sure.
But yeah, like I said, I always get a few ideas in my head. I want to do something with anime, but you can't really use video. And for anime, I want to use video, and I don't want to
we
get
got
my
a bunch
stride.
of questions here for you, man. We got a bunch of questions flooding in. What's your favorite indie? What's your favorite indie series, Tony?
Let's see. That would be Something Is Killing the Children.
Nice.
Honestly.
Very good choice. Very good choice. Some James Tynan goodness. DVH asks, have you seen Striper live in Japan, and how tight are those pants?
You talking about me or the band? I've never wore leather.
I think the band. I'm hoping the band.
Yes, I've seen Striper live in Japan. It was a really awesome video. I used to have it on videotape. I need to get it on DVD. It's really hard to find those old ones. And
what's your favorite rock band? Trev wants to ask, what's your favorite rock band? Favorite concert?
Well, I have been a Kiss fan since I was 5 years old. So I'm generally going to go to that being my favorite band. However, the band that changed my life is Striper.
Okay.
But
going back to the previous question. Okay. Well, have you met? I'm assuming he means Kiss. Have you met any Kiss members? Nope.
No, I can't afford it.
Right. Have you met any Kiss members? What's your top 5 Kiss songs? That's kind of a lot on the spot. What are some Kiss songs you like? Just
Well, before I get to that one, I want to touch up on the other one. As far as KISS members, unfortunately, the one that I would have loved to meet more than anything passed away in 1991. Eric Carr was my idol. I mean, he got me behind a drum kit, and for some stupid reason, when he died, I decided to quit playing drums. Now, I did the exact reverse. I should have been inspired to progress more, but I quit. My favorite KISS songs is like asking me which one of my favorite children. Uh,
just like them
it
all, right?
it honestly depends on the album. My favorite
Okay.
album is Rock and Roll Over. Now I will say, you know what? I can narrow it down to by if I graded them by guitar solos, it would be in no particular order. It would be Making Love from Alive 2. No, excuse me, Making Love from Rock and Roll Over. Mr. Speed from Rock and Roll Over. Rocket Ride from Alive 2. The acoustic version of I Love It Loud from MTV Unplugged.
From
And
Unplugged. Okay.
and my other favorite song would probably be All Hell's Breaking Loose from Lick It Up.
Cool. Very cool, man.
But like I said, I love all of them. Rock and Roll Over is my favorite album. I usually go between that or Revenge because those are my top two favorite KISS albums. And I have everything on I have everything on CD, just about everything on vinyl, and I sold my cassettes a long time ago.
Ah. Well, going back to the channel for a second, man. What's
All right.
what's your favorite type of content? What's some content you like to watch from other people?
Honestly, I love watching Rob CGC unboxings when I can remember to check them out. He blows me away every time I see him.
Who are some people? Sorry, man. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I didn't let you finish.
I was gonna say he made me a big fan of the space helmet, bubble helmets, and ray guns.
Right. Well, who are some people that you that you would like to who are some people in the community that maybe inspire you to want to make better content, or some people out there that you would like to possibly work with someday even?
Well, I'm gonna put you on the spot because some of the people I've already had on my live shows, that would be you and Durs and DVH and Mike over at Evil's Comics.
Yeah, Mike's a good guy.
You know, Rob, Chris the Comic Vet. I mean, the list goes on. Brian, even Madam. I've gotten up early to watch Madam's show. I think Madam's doing a really great job.
Madam's awesome. Stephanie's awesome.
Trev. I missed what was it? Was it Mike and Trev's show that they did Sunday?
Yeah, they're doing a new live stream. Yeah,
I gotta watch the replay, guys. I'm sorry I missed the first episode, but I just love watching
time around, man.
And it doesn't matter what the content is. I just love watching y'all do y'all stuff and just enjoy the hobby. For me, that's what it is. That's all. Just watching people like myself enjoying the hobby.
And well, what can we expect? What can we expect? You got anything coming up? Like, what can we expect in the near future from the Comiverse?
Well, let's see. Next Saturday, I'll be dropping episode. I hope I get the number right. 30. Hold on. It's either 32 or 31 or 32. And it is the Showcase. I'm doing Showcase 22, which is the first appearance of Hal Jordan Green Lantern. And I'm getting them mixed up because I've got that one done, and I'm already working on next week's, which is the first appearance of the new Teen Titans.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I got that going on Saturday. Saturday night, I went to a bi-weekly schedule with my live show to conserve my mobile hotspot data.
Okay.
I still have home internet issues.
But, so it's now become a bi-weekly thing with you. What's up,
for
Sean?
now, bro? It's only temporary for now. But I'm gonna do it into the Comiverse this weekend. I'm gonna have a topic which is death in comics, about whether or not death is still relevant in comics or if it ever was. And I figure that might be interesting.
For sure.
Whenever I get this stuff in, like I said, I've got an eBay thing coming in. I got to unbox because I got a collector set that I'd never seen before in my life that I'm really looking forward to cracking into it. If I crack into it, I got it for $10 in the Firestorm stuff. And then I followed Durs down the rabbit hole and won some stuff
Uh-oh.
from Whatnot. I won
Uh-oh.
I won some stuff off of Whatnot, so I'm gonna show off some of that.
The
And
goblins continue.
as far as shows, dude, I love watching this show. That what you do.
Thanks,
You
bro.
don't you
Thank you.
you don't see this all the time. And somebody that's working hard to try to make his own life better and making other people's lives better as well, man.
Yeah, I'm just trying to have
I was gonna
fun,
say
man.
I was
Get
gonna
to
say
know
you're
some
doing
people
the
better
Lord's
and
work,
talk comic
man.
books. Do what?
I was gonna say you're doing the Lord's work.
Oh shit. I
Hey,
appreciate
you
you
don't
anyways,
you don't have to be saintly to do the work. I'm just saying.
man. Hashtag prize lizards, Mike said.
But going back to bands I've met, I have met Striper. I got to meet them in 2019. They played a concert of all places, Graceland in Memphis.
It's about 5 hours from here, I think.
Yeah. So I went to Graceland and watched Striper. I got to meet them. And what was even cooler was the fact that when I got to meet them, I got to take my daughter. She was 17 at the time. And
What?
she likes Striper. So when Daddy met Striper for the first time,
Chris,
she got to
brother.
meet him too. And I'm talking to all the members, and she's talking to all the members. Rob, the drummer, actually walked around after he told her that his son was the same age as her. He actually walked around and gave her a hug and said, "Thanks for coming to the show." And I was like, if she's
Wow.
not a fan, she is now.
That's awesome, man.
And
Some
then
good memories too.
I got to Mike and Oz, and I was like, "Look, guys," I said, "I don't know what to tell y'all." I said, "What do you tell a band that for the last 30 years, your music and message has had a profound impact on my life?" I mean, they saved my life. And I was like, "What do you say except thank you?" And they
Yeah.
said, "Thanks." And they thought it was pretty cool. And I got to take my picture and everything. And during the show, you ever been to a concert where you just see somebody just totally lost and they got their eyes closed, their hand out like this, and you're like, "That's a little weird."
Yeah. There's
Well,
always that person.
well, that night it was me. I was playing. I didn't even realize it, dude. They were playing a sing along song, one of their songs off of "To Hell with the Devil."
Yeah.
I did not realize until I done
Mike.
it that I had my hands up and my eyes closed, singing along, and I opened my eyes. And when I did, you got to keep in mind this was general seating, so I'm probably 5 to 10 feet from the stage.
Yeah.
And Michael Sweet was looking right at me. He did this. He clapped and pointed right at me.
Nice, man. That's really
So
cool.
he saw, I guess, what I was doing. But
Hell yeah, dude. Well, that's definitely a cool memory for sure. Well, what else? Do you got anything else you want to talk about involving the channel or anything before we wrap it up and get ready for Between the Lines on TM Nerdy's channel tonight?
no, man, I think I about covered it. I will say this. I mean, as far as my live shows go, if somebody wants to hop on, they can. Just let me know, and I'll send them a link. Now, granted,
Awesome.
I'm still on the free thing where I can only have 6 people at a time, but I plan on upgrading that soon to the
And
next
those
level.
live streams, they're every Saturday or every other Saturday night now. Every other, it's bi-weekly now.
Yeah, every other Saturday. Once I get everything lined out and go back to strictly weekly, I'll make an announcement and let everybody know.
Okay, cool. So are you doing a live stream this coming Saturday?
Yes. It'll be
Okay.
6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Awesome, man. Well, I look forward to it. I'll definitely be there. I'll go ahead and mark it on my calendar now, so I'll be on there with you hanging out, bro.
And the only thing,
shit. DVH just commented no Between the Lines. I guess a cancellation.
Okay.
So no Between the Lines. So we don't
wow,
have to necessarily end if you don't want to, man. We can kick it
all
for a
right,
few more minutes if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I lost my. The only episode of Into the Comiverse that's planned is sometime in November. I
Yeah.
will be doing a Doctor Who special because November 23rd, 2023, I believe that date's right, is the 60th anniversary of the premiere of the first episode in An Earthly Child with um, the first Doctor. I was going to say William Hartnett. Yeah, William Hartnett.
Well,
So
now Doctor Who is something that I'm not very familiar with, so you'll have to teach me. I know
I'll
nothing
try.
about Doctor Who.
I could tell you about William Hartnell, Tom Baker, and the new series.
Yeah. I'll tell you something I do know something about, and I'm really excited about this week. We got a little tease from Troma. We got a new Toxic Avenger poster, and
Oh, really?
we got a little leak, like a freeze frame of the trailer, and some definite new news regarding Toxic Avenger. So that was exciting for me. That combine that with the Dazzler news, which I really not sure I know how I
No.
feel, or I'm not sure how to feel about the Dazzler news, honestly, but y'all know I'm a big Dazzler fan. So between that and Toxic Avenger, that's got me pretty stoked.
Okay,
this
so
week.
I haven't been online. What's the Dazzler news?
It's out, man. Okay, supposedly there has been a leaked, what is it? Let's see, rumored leaked cast list with Taylor Swift as Dazzler for Deadpool 3.
Okay, I've heard that rumor too.
It's
Now-
not been confirmed, but I don't know, man. They're going crazy with it though. And then Toxic Avenger, dude, they have a freaking an A-list cast. Listen to the cast for this Toxic Avenger movie. Peter Dinklage. Do you know who that is, right?
Oh, I know who that is. Yeah.
Kevin Bacon, Elijah Wood, Julia Davis. There's some really big names attached to. I'm super excited about this Toxic Avenger movie, though. So that's the big news to me for the week. That and in the Dazzler news, which I have mixed emotions about. I don't even know if that's true, though. Honestly, I don't know if I believe that rumor or about the leaked cast thing.
Now I noticed it.
I'll see it happen and let me
it-
know in the comments.
I noticed in the comments
bro.
that Madam keeps saying last meal, last meal. I don't know what exactly that means.
I don't know. I missed it. I missed that.
Madam, I was gonna say if you want to repeat it.
No, I tell him I was trying to go back and look. I don't even see it. But yeah, that was the big news. I'm pretty excited about that. You hadn't got any Toxic Avenger news in a little while. Kind of grew cold. It got hot for a little bit when they leaked news about it a few years back, and then it got cold for a long time, and now
That's
we got
pretty
that
cool.
poster. Yeah, man, we got a cool poster, and looking forward to it.
I was gonna say I remember the old Toxie movies vaguely. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been 30 years since I watched them, but I remember.
I used to like those old the Troma movies. I used to watch them when I was younger. That's the only VHS tape that I still own is Redneck Zombies on VHS.
I was gonna say I don't have any of the Trauma stuff. I have very select few of the Full Moon. I have the first 9 Puppet Master movies and the first 3 Subspecies movies.
Yeah.
But
I guess hey, let's see. While we have the extra time, let's throw this up there again. Let's promote
there we
this
go.
Saturday morning lineup that they got going. Well, we got Stephanie and let me get this comment off the screen real quick. Sorry, y'all. This is the Saturday morning YouTube lineup. Thought I'd share this with you guys while I have you on here. We got Coffee and Cosplay with Madam Blaster and Gary B, the casual comic guys, starting Saturday morning off at 7:30 a.m. Then you got the morning stretch with Fanboy Prime at 8:55 a.m. Eastern time. And then Breakfast with Brian, the Godfather, Brian LCS at 10 a.m. That's a weekly staple for me. It has been for a long time. Always have a lot of fun on there. And then ending it, sorry, I kind of got the banner in the way at the bottom there. Actually, I'll click that off real quick so you can see it. But that's actually Last Week Today with Philtastic Comics and Art. Phil's a really cool guy, so be sure to check that out too. But I wanted to highlight those guys and show the lineup that they got going. And
Yeah.
also coming up at 9 o'clock.
You still there? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
For some reason, okay, there we go. 22 Comics at 9 p.m. He'll be doing his top 10 alternatives. So y'all be sure to check that out. And then at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Cupo Comics doing his thing with Monday Night Raw books. And 11 p.m. ending the night, we got Carlos Collects Comics with Monday Night Halls Live. So yeah, we still got a lot of night ahead of us. Sucks that Between the Lines is canceled. But y'all be sure to come back next week. I guess it'll be on Roscoe's channel next week. And I'll have Roscoe on here as a special guest. So that's going to be awesome.
So Deviates repeated what Madam said, and I'd found what she said. She said in my most respectable voice, "What is my last meal?" What would happen?
What is that? What is
I
the
guess,
reference to?
I guess what is my last meal? I think I remember her talking. She did. I think she did something on her show or something where they were talking about if you were about to be executed or something, what would be your last meal or something like that.
Oh, okay. I felt like I was just missing something. Like I'm left out of the joke.
My answer is going to be the same one I said then, and that is a beef Wellington. Actually, the first thing I said was I did a line from the Cannonball Run 2 and said I'd like a wine list. But I want a wine list and a beef Wellington from Gordon Ramsay. But are we still there? Oh, Scott froze. Uh-oh. Hey, guys, what's going on? Y'all want to ask me something while we're waiting on Scott? He'll be back in a second. What was the first comic you ever bought? That would be Captain America 333 from 1987. It was the first appearance of John Walker as Captain America. Can I sing? Yes. Can I sing well? No. What is your favorite comic cover? Ooh. I'm going to go with X-Men 135, the cover with Dark Phoenix crushing the logo. Okay, DVH, favorite movie from the 80s. Give me a second. I'm going to show you this one. It's a little obscure, popular movie. It's called Rad. It's about a kid that he's a freestyle BMXer and a local kid delivering papers. They do this big event coming to his hometown called Hell Track, and he tries to enter it. And the whole time he's going through it, the big wigs keep trying to screw him out of winning, but he ends up winning the whole thing. And it's really awesome. I don't play any instruments, although I got 2 guitars over here gathering dust. Aliens or Predator? Ooh. I'm going to go with Predator. I love the aliens, but I always like Predator. Are you a Robotech fan? I've never watched Robotech, but I have been I am familiar with Robotech. Hey, Scott, are you back? I think you're muted.
My internet just totally cut out. I had to reboot everything. Yeah,
They said I took over your show. It's my show.
I'm glad you did, man, because I'm like, what is going on? It just booted me out and everything reset.
Yeah, Chop said Tony's taking over. Brian says, "LOL, it's Tony's. It's the Tony After Show."
Yes. Well, I'm glad you did, man. I'm glad you did, because I'm glad we're just in extra time when that happened, man, because that sucks. It just totally, I lost total internet connection. Everything went down. Like it's almost like somebody unplugged the router box here, but nobody did.
But yeah, I was just talking to who was it that asked me what my favorite movie was? DVH asked me my favorite '80s movie, and I talked about Rad. This movie come out in the '80s, and
Rad.
One thing I did not mention is it's a B-rated movie, and it's really cool. The spot Mongoose Mongoose is big in this because Mongoose was big in BMX stuff back in the '80s and '90s.
Yeah,
they were big BMX. Mongoose was everywhere. And the only notable celebrity that people probably going to recognize from this movie is Talia Shire, the lady that played in Rocky 2. Hey, she played Adrian in Rocky 2.
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about now. Okay.
They just released this in 4K Blu-ray. If you can get it and you like old Blu-ray, old cheesy '80s movies, it is definitely worth picking up. The soundtrack is good. And yes, Chop, Mongoose made some badass bikes back in the day. I've almost broken my neck on a couple of them.
Yeah, I had one with pegs on the back. It was fun.
But
Biggie Shack, what's going on, bro?
I don't remember the name of the company, but there used to be a like Sigma Vortex bicycle, and it was you might remember it was a BMX bike, and they had like little discs inside the wheels, and everybody went crazy over those things.
I do remember that. Yeah. Hey, since we got Biggie in the house, let me do the Biggie Shack clip.
I'd say that one is a banger, man. It's a real certified banger, dude.
Had to play the Biggie clip.
Oh yeah.
See, Brian wanted a mongoose but got a Huffy.
I was gonna say my channel mascot came in.
Your channel mascot?
Yeah.
What's that? Ah, the kitty.
Yeah. If anybody ever wondered, this is my daughter's cat, Mr. Midnight. And if anybody ever wondered when you see my logo, my daughter created my logo for Comiverse.
Very cool.
Used him as the inspiration for Batman. And she used to have a little hamster, and she put the hamster on his shoulder, and he's dressed up like Robin.
Aw, that's awesome, man. That's a cool origin story for your logo too, man. That your daughter helped you cook it up. That's awesome.
Yeah, because it was funny because when I pitched the idea of her drawing something, because she's a really great artist, and she took a Bob Ross painting and watched a 30-minute video of him painting this mountain scene, and she was painting along with it. And when she got done, it looked just like the Bob Ross painting.
What?
So I mean, but the original pitch for me was I wanted her to put Midnight in a Superman costume, and she said, "Don't you think it'd be better since he's a black cat if he was Batman?" And I went, "Okay." Yeah. I was like, "You're the artist. Do whatever you want."
Yeah, she's smart, man. That's a good idea. She came up with an awesome logo.
And Biggie said, "Okay." I couldn't remember the name of it.
Huffy White Heat.
I know all of us kids.
That sounds like a Biggie nickname, White Heat.
Yeah, but Biggie's right. Huffy was the other big bicycle company back then too.
Yeah, they were pretty big. Yeah,
but yeah, I mean that's all I got.
I guess we could go ahead and wrap it up, man.
I was going to say I got what I got one more story, but I don't want to tell that one.
Uh-oh, you get yourself in trouble. Yeah, you don't want to do that, man.
No, it's just too dark and depressing.
Well, dude, thank you so much, Tony, for coming and hanging out with me tonight, man. I really appreciate it.
Hey,
Through the
man,
technical difficulties and everything, bro. I really appreciate you.
was that a first?
Yeah, that was definitely a first. I've never had the internet just completely cut out and shut down. At least we were kind of like in extra time though, just hanging out though.
Well, yeah.
But could have been worse. It could have been like right dead in the middle of it or something.
Well,
But,
I could say it was an honor to be a guest, and if you ever want me back, just holler at me and let me know. And thank you, chat, for hanging out. And
yeah,
who knows, maybe
yeah.
I'll save that story for the next time because, like I said, it's just not a place where I'm at anymore. But maybe one of these days I'll feel the need to talk about it.
Well, when you get
But
ready
like,
to, man, we'll have you back and we'll talk about it. It might help somebody.
it's the reason why Striper has an impact in my life. I mean, so
Awesome. Well, with that being said, you guys, in about 9 minutes, we got 22 comics with his top 10 alternatives. So everybody head over there and show him some love. Really good channel. He comes up with some really good alternatives. But yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. And we'll see you guys next week with Geek Out with Roscoe. And also, if y'all ain't busy this Wednesday, me and Frank will be doing the You Collect What at 7 p.m. and that's going to be a lot of fun. So hope you guys are able to catch that. And see you guys next time.